Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in here to Sporting 160. A bit better mood for this podcast. We're feeling good about not only our Sporting, but the Portuguese league as a whole. Some pretty massive results from Braga on the road in Russia today, and Guimarães as well, getting the job done. Probably should have won 8-0, but got the job done. So we will have all of our Portuguese teams 5 for 5 in European competition this season. And Sporting, put together, not the best showing that they've had all season so far in this young season. So let's just get to the panel here and introduce you guys. By the way, this is podcast number 52, I believe. And we'll start with Steph. Steph, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So, some amazing results from our Portuguese teams. Congrats to, first and foremost, congrats to Sporting Braga and Vitória de Guimarães. Awesome results. So, we have 5 teams, 4 in the Europa League, and then 1 in the Champions League. And that's amazing. Just to give you the perspective of how humongous this is, there's only 4 countries with the full teams that they were supposed to have, which is Spain, number 1, 7 out of 7, England, 7 out of 7, Germany, 7 out of 7, and guess what? And Portugal, 5 out of 5. Every other country, Italy lost 1 team, they 6 out of 7. I'm just going to name the top 10. France lost 1 as well, 5 out of 6 now. Russia, our uh, competition, they're 4 out of 6. They've lost 2 teams. And then Belgium underneath Portugal, 4 out of 5. So we're in extremely good shape to not only catch Russia, but France. So congrats to Braga. Congrats to Vitória de Guimarães. And Portugal is looking good for season 2020-21.
Hell
That's it.
yeah. And Portugal actually has the most teams out of any country in the Europa League with 4. Would have wished it was 3. Wish Porto was in the Champions League. But, well positioned, hopefully, to, make a run with our clubs here. And let's get here to Nando. Nando, how you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing fantastic. We won. We played good. Well, Vieto, what's up? We'll talk about that in a second. And most importantly, we're top of the league right now. So hey, let's enjoy it while it lasts, fellas. I'm happy.
Campeões de Agosto.
That's it, bro. We're doing our thing.
All
They
right.
can't take it from us in a good.
All right. So let's get right into the Portimonense game on the road down in the Algarve. Let's get to the lineup here. So Ruben Ribeiro in net, Thierry Correia, Sebastian Coates, Jeremy Mathieu, Marcos Acuna, Dumbia, Wendell in the middle, Rafinha, Vieto, and Bruno Fernandes, as well as Luis Felipe. Steph, let's just get to you, man. Initial thoughts. What do you think of the game?
Amazing game. Everyone was a little bit skeptical when we spoke last time on our podcast. When we were talking about what do you think, how well Sporting will play at Portimonense no Algarve. I think I was the most skeptical out of the 3 of us. But I was very surprised with the lineup. When I didn't see Diaby, I'm like, uh-oh, maybe we have a chance to win because Diaby is not playing. And I didn't know that Vieto was so fast. He has some wheels, man. And the chemistry between him and Bruno Fernandes, it's just amazing. Now I kind of understand a little bit the thought process of Kaiser, why you would say that Vieto could play Bruno Fernandes position place because he does have some extremely good vision and his passes were right on to Rafinha. I mean, Rafinha could have scored at the end the 4th goal and a hat trick with that amazing pass from Vieto, but that went on the whole game, and that was a very very pleasant surprise. But I won't take too long. But the weaknesses I saw in our team was the number 6 position. We're struggling in that position. Idrissa Doumbia is not there yet. Eduardo, I don't think he's the answer. So if I was Sporting in this window, I would try to get a true number 6 to compensate I still like Doumbia, don't get me wrong, but I think he's still making too many wrong decisions, and his vision lacks a little bit. I mean, he has room for progression because of his age. Um, so that's one of the spots I saw a bit of weakness in our team, and also the defense. They're not gelling yet. Coates and Mathieu, they still trying to find rhythm. Um, Thierry Correia much better, and I foresee him getting better and better. Cunha, excellent. Vieto had more freedom because of Acuna, because he's really good defending, and which allowed Vieto to take off in those crazy runs. It was amazing. So overall, good performance by Sporting. Good win. We deserve to win. It could have been lopsided, like 5-2, because Portimonense did create some chances of goal. But I'm happy with 3-1. Um, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. If we do get a number 6 and a striker, because Bas Dost, as we all know, was sold, a shitty deal, but still, we'll save up with the salaries and all that stuff. We'll talk about it later. But if I am Kaiser, I would demand a number 6 and a striker. I don't think we need a winger. We have plenty of wingers. So, but a number 6 and a striker, that's what we need. And that's all I got to say about this game. Overall, a great performance by the whole team. Just like I said, the number 6 position a little bit weak, and the defense has to get it together sooner or later. They need to start gelling. That's it.
All right, awesome. And Nando, what were your thoughts on the game?
Man, I enjoyed it very, very much, man. I was like always following along on Twitter, and one general like consensus among Sportingistas was I think this is the first time this season, and even in counting the preseason, that we were enthusiastic, excited, feeling good about our performance. Now, of course, after being up 2-0 and they made the 2-1, and then right there, I'm sure we probably had our eye. It's not going to be as easy as always, but like Steph just said. We could have easily won this game by more than 3-1. Rafinha could have and should have had a hat trick. But a couple of things that stand out, man. First and foremost, Vieto. To me, I'm going to say it early already, but it was man of the match. Sure, we'll get to that in a second. But I absolutely loved his performance. It was unexpected. I don't know about you guys, but to me, I've talked a little bit about his underwhelming performances thus far in the preseason. So it was extremely like it was illuminating in a way, to see that this guy has the ability to make these runs on the ball and make some nice, real good passes like he did for the first goal and moments in the game that were just great to see. And if he performs like that throughout the season, then great, man. That's exactly what we need to see. And I think him playing in the left wing was perfect. Like Steph just mentioned, man, two things for me there. Not sold on Doumbia personally. He's not bad, but we definitely need a 6. Don't really care much for Eduardo. He's serviceable, and that's about that. Acuna had a great game, and then for some reason, like Steph just said, Mateo and Coates aren't gelling yet, but that could very much be the fact that we're still not in physical peak, maybe. Those are, Mateo's older. So, older guys take a little longer to get going when it comes to their physical, capabilities and stuff like that. Warm-ups and everything always takes a little longer. But overall, man, great game. And even though he didn't play, I'll say this. I enjoyed watching or knowing that Gonzalo Plata was on the bench, man. I don't know about you guys, but it was cool to know that he was there. And hopefully that's just something that we see more often. And hopefully Kaiser gives this guy and some other guys some opportunities. So overall, great win. We were all kind of pessimistic. And we did what we had to do, and we looked good doing it.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you brought up Plata there because, to me, what Plata was there for, not only his performances in the U23s, obviously he's been playing excellent. The whole team has really, but he's been excellent. That was Rafinha's kick in the ass. If you're shit again, you're coming out, and I'm going to throw in this 18-year-old who's got something to prove here. Just called up to the a senior team in Ecuador. This is your I mean, not your final chance, but this is the kick in the ass to let you know there's rumors other teams being interested. I've got this kid here. What do you got? And he responded in excellent fashion. He really, we've been on in the past couple games for good reason, obviously, but I thought that his performance was excellent. He scored a couple goals. He looked dangerous at pretty much all times. You can make a case, for him or Vieto, man of the match, are both our wingers. But to me, I think that was kind of Plata's presence there. I think Kaiser was fully prepared to use him. And obviously people will complain, he's just sitting there. He's going to put him in the 89th minute. Yes, I understand. Kaiser has done, things like that in the past. We question his substitutions at times. But I really do think that if Rafinha played like he did in the first couple games, that he would have yanked him out of there in like the 55th, 60th minute. Maybe it's 0-0. And yeah, I thought that he responded in an excellent fashion. So let's just get into the couple controversial events here. The Portimão penalty kick. Steph, for you, is that a penalty? Steph Kimry?
I'm sorry, I was on mute. The one against us?
Yes, Matthew.
Okay. So only shit. If that's a PK, we're gonna see like goddamn 50 PKs every weekend. No, it was not a PK. It's a bullshit call. Even with the VAR, they still get it wrong. This is not ballet. If we're gonna go with those light touches and calling them PKs, it's gonna be a long season. To me, no. 2 thumbs down. It was not a PK.
Nando, what about you?
Completely agree, man. I don't think that was a PK. I think that's soft as hell. I think that's just looking for a motive to. I don't know, man. Again, it's Portugal, right? Where the guys fall over and the referees are quick to have the whistle ready to blow. No penalty.
Okay, yeah. He sticks his leg out there. He pulls it back. There's not much contact. The guy kind of flops. Surprised he didn't look at it at VAR. I guess they gave him the nod upstairs that he made the right call, so he didn't even look at it, which is a bit curious. But yeah, it's very soft. And then the one that had a lot of people talking here was the Luis Felipe penalty incident, and not only the penalty incident itself, but the manner in which it was handled. So let's just break this down from the beginning here. And I don't have the video, but I'm just going from memory here. So I think it might have been Thierry Correa or someone on the right wing.
A minute.
I'm going to say it was in the first half, maybe 30-ish. And the V Sports highlight does not include it. So if you can find a different highlight, that'd be great. But yeah, so it's on the right wing. Someone has the ball. They play it into the box. Luis Felipe gets tripped. The referee calls a free kick. It's right. It looks like it's right on the top of the box, maybe inside, maybe outside. The ref gives us a free kick because it's clearly a foul. He sticks his foot out, gets Luis Felipe. It's a foul. Then he gets the word in his earpiece that it might be in the box. He goes and takes a look at it, decides that the foul was in the box, and it was. It's just inside the line. Felipe is in the box, and then he falls out of the box, but the contact occurs in the box, so it's a penalty kick. He comes back after looking at the video, gives Sporting a penalty kick. Before the kick is taken, he starts getting word in his earpiece again that there might be a foul before the play. So he goes and takes a look at it again, and Thierry Correa, in the build-up to the play, there's a Portimonense player who cuts across the front of Thierry Correa. Thierry Correa tries to get out of the way. The guy's cutting across him. There's not really much he can do, and their legs get tangled up, and the Portimonense player goes down. So he goes back and looks at the replay, decides that that's a foul on Thierry Correa, and unawards the penalty kick. So he looks at the VAR twice, unawards the penalty kick after he awarded it. Steph, what are your thoughts? Number one, is that even a foul on Thierry Correa? And I guess number two, what do you think of this whole situation, how this played out? Did Luis Felipe have possession of the ball when he was fouled? So that would negate the previous play because possession changed hands, so you can't overturn the decision if the ball changed possession. We saw an incident similar to like this in the Guimarães game last season where there was a foul, but Guimarães won the ball back, so the ref couldn't unaward the penalty kick. Steph, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm reviewing the play now as we speak, and this is what went on. So you have Bruno Fernandes. Okay, so Portimonense, they get the ball back, the center back, and then he passes to his shipmate. So he gains the ball back, and then he fouls Luis Felipe. So the VAR rule is the following. To go back to Thierry Correia and say he fouled the Portimonense player, which, anyway, that foul was also ridiculous because he's running and the fucking player trips on Thierry Correia, if you ask me. I don't think Thierry Correia did it purposely. So you could see that foul from, supposedly, that foul from Thierry Correia, it doesn't matter. Because when the center back from Portimonense regains the control of the ball and passes to his shipmate, to his colleague, that initiates another play. So Thierry Correia's play is dead. So with that said, and that's when the PK happens after that play. So Portimonense clears the ball, the center back regains the ball and passes to his colleague. So that's where and then it's the PK. So Portimonense regained control of the ball. So therefore the PK does exist, and whatever Thierry Correia fouled or didn't foul, to me didn't foul, it doesn't matter. What surprises me is it's not Sistra, because he was the referee. It was the VAR. They set him up to fail because they have all the time in the world to double check all the players. They have like 10 different cameras with 10 different angles, and they have a technician that's an expert in helping them and going back and forth and go back to this second, this precise minute, this precise moment, and they still couldn't get it together. And then I'm not talking out of my ass, so I'm not an expert, because what I like to do at the end of each game, I like to see o juiz final. O juiz final, usually it's an ex-referee and a technician, a camera technician that's really good with getting all the plays and going back and forth. And they broke it down so gently and so slowly, and they took their time. And I fully understood, like, if you clear the ball, that's not considered regaining the control of the ball. I get that. But in this case, the center back, he gained the ball, he regained the ball and passed it to his colleague, to his teammate. So that's a new play right away. And then the PK happened. So 2 thumbs down to the VAR referees. They suck. They couldn't even get this play together. It didn't affect Sporting, but it could have affected Sporting. We still won the game. But it's a shame. It's a shame that even with 10 different cameras, 2 VAR referees, there was 2 of them, 1 supervisor, tanta gente, o caralho, and they couldn't still get it together. It's embarrassing. And all the panels, all the different shows agreed for once. So, yeah, that was a PK that was stolen from Sporting, and that's it. Hello?
Nando, at this late date, how does the VAR still not understand the rules?
I don't know how they don't understand the rules. What my concern with them is that what's happening in Portugal seems to always be a Portuguese, like it isolates the Portugal, man. You know what I'm saying? Like other countries, when they have issues with VAR or whatever, it doesn't ever seem to be so flagrant. And like any other countries that have issues with referees, it doesn't seem to be so like obvious and so blatant that you're left scratching your head. So I don't know, man. It's a penalty. He saw it. We all agree with it. It's a penalty. Now, do any of us 3 here know if you're allowed to keep calling the referee back? Is it like, are we talking one-time call? Go look at the VAR, check it out, make your decision, keep it moving, or are you allowed to constantly call him back? Because like we all discussed, penalty first, no, it's not a penalty, then it's a foul against Sporting. I haven't seen that since VAR started, that many decisions in one damn play.
Yeah, I don't think there's a rule against him going back multiple times, but I also have never seen him go back and look at the same play that he just looked
And
at.
changed completely.
Yeah, after he already changed it. So there was 3 changes.
Yeah,
The
and
initial
that's what's
call,
concerning.
penalty, not a penalty.
Yep, penalty, not a penalty, and then altogether foul against Sporting.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I understand Shistra because it's a lot to take in, like altogether, and he doesn't have all the cameras. You know what I mean? He only sees a little bit, a little piece. He only saw the PK itself, and then the foul from Thierry Correia, but he didn't see the development of the whole play when the center back from Portimonense regained the ball and he passed it to his teammate, and that's a new play, and then the PK happened. He didn't see that portion. And that's shame on the VAR referees. Shame on them.
And the thing about the whole thing is that the Thierry Correia incident, it's not even a foul. It's one thing if we're debating if is the incident that Thierry Correia trips the guy even a foul. Number one, it doesn't even matter if it's a foul. But number two, it's not even a foul. The guy cuts him, runs across the front of him. Thierry Correia is running and the guy cuts him off. I mean, he tries to pull up and jump over him, but there's nothing he can do. The guy cuts him off. So yeah, just a really shocking scene here, and it's pretty remarkable that it didn't come back to bite us in the ass, because they easily could have. It would have been 3-1 within the first 15 minutes. I mean, that would have been massive. Ended up not mattering to today or that day, but in the future, it could easily matter. So yeah, just really, I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully, whoever was in charge of that game on the VAR kind of lost their their responsibilities, or they're doing the Segunda Liga next week, because that's a shocking display. On to more promising things here. I think that everyone mutually agreed that Vieto was excellent. His through balls, his dribbling, his vision. I mean, he showed a lot of things that a lot of us have not seen in any of his prior performances. Steph, after watching the Vieto that we saw this past Sunday, how has Kaiser left him on the bench this long?
I don't know, man. The thing is, I think Vieto realizes he's 25, that this is maybe his last move to be successful with his football career, and I think we, the fans, and the media poked the bear, and he was. And then Sporting prepared him mentally, because you did say that Sporting has been very supportive, not only the coaching staff, but the administration, even the fans. So we poked the bear, and it was his time to prove us wrong, the fans, and show us what he's got. Because Vieto, in the past, in Argentina, before you moved to Atletico Madrid, and then he bounced to England and so on, he was a player with a very good reputation. So he's in good shape, and you could tell. So I think maybe he was adapting to the club and to the reality of Liga NOS, and now he realizes that it's a very competitive league. It's not as easy that people make it seem like it is. There's a reason why we have 5 teams in the international competitions. Our league is becoming better and better each year, um, and kudos to the coaching staff by bringing him back mentally and physically, and he looked really good. And the sky's the limit for this guy. So I think it was a combination of good job by the coaching staff and the administration and the fans by giving him some love and support. And now he's showing that, okay, I'm ready to demonstrate to all of you that I'm here to make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, basically what we paid for him, the whole situation, it really wasn't an option for him to be a zero. He had to be serviceable in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So
chance though,
yeah. I mean, and to
like
be
a real
fair,
chance.
yeah,
No, but the thing is, Nando and Chris, I know sometimes we have like a short memory, but in the preseason when he wasn't playing well,
yeah, that's what I was just gonna
this
say.
guy was already garbage. He was already garbage by all the sporting, not all of the sporting fans, but fans nowadays they lose their patience because that's going on now in Benfica with Raul de Tomas. All of a sudden, he's not good enough for Benfica, And then I was with Three Tugas, and you just have to be patient with certain players. I mean, it's a big difference between the Spanish league and the Portuguese league. They have to adapt to the reality and adapt to the team and teammates and all that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, we saw him playing preseason. He didn't really leave, much of a lasting impression. But yeah, these things do take time, and he obviously last season played pretty sparingly as well. So he hasn't been a full-time starter every game kind of player in at least 3-4 seasons. So it's gonna take a while for him to fully get there. But definitely, and also at the same time, if he doesn't play as well next week, we can't jump on him again and say, "Oh, this guy's shit." Actually, we did see what we needed to see, though. You can only play like shit for so long before it's the norm. But this performance shows that he has it. If he performs well, but to varying degrees, we at least know that he has it. So if he plays well 3 games and then plays bad in the 4th game, we at least know that he's capable.
And I'll jump in with something real quick about him. I don't know what I was more impressed with him. Was it his pace on the ball? I think it was I don't know if it was Steph or if it was Danny who tweeted it, but like he ran real well on one play and then he crossed like shit, still looking like Diaby. But he had some really good pace to him, which was really impressive because I didn't expect him to have that pace. I hadn't seen it yet, honestly. But truthfully, his through balls and his passing was stupid good. His pass on the first goal was incredible, and then the pass, I don't know if you guys remember that over the top ball to Bruno Fernandes in the first half, like that's incredible. I mean, that's on a dime.
Yeah, the pass, I didn't know he really had that in his game.
No, I didn't at all. I thought Bruno Fernandes was going to be our primary guy for for those kinds of passes and switching the play up, and he did that. So if you can imagine, like we talked about, if he stays on form and is at least regularly good, teams have to respect that. And now you got 2 dudes on the pitch, assuming Bruno Fernandes stays, but or if he leaves, I mean, we at least got a guy that's still going to be able to put that kind of quality of passing.
Exactly. I was just thinking the same way as you just mentioned, because he makes me feel a little bit better if Bruno Fernandes is sold now. If somebody's willing to pay 70 million, I hate to tell you, but we have to sell him. It's just a lot of money, and that's when do we say, okay, Varandas has to say yes? I think the 70 million, that's the mark. Am I correct? Most Sportingistas will accept that.
Yes, for sure.
70, and then maybe some add-ons.
For sure.
70 plus 10. That'd be great.
Exactly. So if Bruno Fernandes gets sold, the only thing that's fucked up, we're running out of time to buy some players because I don't see the deal being done before Monday, because Monday is the last day of the 2nd of September. And so we're going to have a ton of money and no time to buy players.
Yeah, so that segues perfectly into our next topic here, which was going to be our transfers and what we should do, the status of potential departures. So yeah, splattered across all the headlines yesterday was Jorge Mendes, Varandas, Viana. They were in Monaco today for the Champions League draw, and effectively it sounded like Jorge Mendes is mingling with all these top clubs that are in town for the draw. The brass, the decision makers at these clubs, kind of shopping him around. And so I guess, Nando, to you, what do you think that in the next 2 days that he's going to be sold? What do you think the status of him being shopped around today was? And are there any other clubs besides Real Madrid that you could see hopping in this and paying enough?
I mean, so what have we heard so far? Lately, we're listening to this rumor of him going to Monaco, which I think is absolutely outrageous.
The draw was in Monaco, so that's where all these teams, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus.
But I mean, okay. So we've got AC Milan, right? We've talked about that, I think, on the last podcast. Being interested in Bruno Fernandes or in some sort of like exchange with André Silva plus some cash. I don't trust that. I don't believe that. I mean, just lately we've been listening to Benfica apparently being offered André Silva.
Yeah.
So I'm not sold on that.
Exactly.
I personally don't think Real Madrid is truly sold on him. Otherwise, I think we would have seen them make a move so much sooner. I honestly think that what's going to happen is he stays, Bud, and I think he goes in the winter market, or I think a big push from an English team in the winter market is gonna try to get him, especially a team that maybe in England isn't doing too well in like the European competitions, because then it's too late to sign them on. But then you can at least play for the Premier or something along those lines. I don't see any team out there. I really don't, man. I don't see any team. I think they're still waiting for Sporting to bulk. And now if you're Sporting, you're back in like we talked about, right? We're first place. I mean, we have to accept the fact that we're in first place. We're there. And now what do? Do you dismantle your best player on your team? You take him out. And then like Steph said, you don't have enough time to go out and replace the guy. You don't have time to go out and make a good, solid purchase and feel good about it. You're going to have to probably make a purchase on the whim and hope that it works, right? So I think he stays, man. I honestly do. I think Sporting bites the bullet, keeps him, and let's see what happens.
Just to touch on Real Madrid there, I think that, obviously, if they were super interested, they would have made a move earlier. I agree, but they do have a lot of their starters out injured now. They have 7 injured players, so it's kind of ringing alarm bells in Madrid. And for them, a panic purchase is Kikas, 2 mil. For them, a panic purchase is Bruno Fernandes, 70 mil. So just 2 totally different worlds to be operating in. But yeah, so I think in terms of Real Madrid, it'd be more of like a, not so much a panic purchase, but, more of like a, oh shit, windows closing, a lot of injuries. What do we have here type of situation,
Exactly, man. I honestly think we're keeping him, man. Do you guys truly think we're selling him at this point? I mean, we got a couple days to go. We're in first place. Nobody's come up front with the cash that we want. So now you really don't want to sell the guy for anything less than what we've wanted, which is 70. Because now we're actually looking good. We actually gained momentum. First place. Team played their best game.
He had 3 assists, by the way. We didn't touch on that, but he assisted every goal.
There you go.
Steph, what do you think?
No. I think that I mean, you cannot reject 70 million. If Real Madrid says, yeah, we'll pay, we'll have to sell them, but it's going to suck really big time because we're going to run out of time. And then we made these bonehead moves with Bragança to Estoril. I don't even know if we could get him back. I think he's locked in until January at least.
Probably.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, the under-23 team has some good players, but I don't know if they, 100% ready to assume the role of Bruno Fernandes, like Bruno Tavares. He's been playing great. But
Matheus Nunes as well.
Yeah, so, but I don't know if they'll,
They're not ready to, no one's ready to fill their shoes.
No, that's big shoes to fill in, so... I mean, I'm with Nando on this one. I would rather keep him too. But, and I would tell Madrid, listen, we're not going to sell him now. We'll save him for you for January. But that's it. That's the only deal we'll make. But if they waive 70 million, bro, we're going to sell him.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
All right, and then to touch on the other player that we just talked about here, André Silva, still being strongly linked to Sporting. He was linked to Benfica as well. Apparently, Benfica has said no, but there is no report of Sporting saying no, which leads me to believe that there still is a dialogue at least. Lots of conflicting reports here. One of the most ridiculous that I've heard is that Sporting would pay a €5 million loan fee, as well as take on his full salary of €2 million a year. So we're talking about €7 million a year for a 1-year André Silva loan.
Yeah.
And we just sold Bas Dost for 7 million. 5.8 at the end of the day for Sporting. So we're selling our top goal scorer over the past 2 seasons, 93 goals and 120 appearances, and then we're spending more to bring in an underperforming
No,
guy on loan.
it's
Steph, you
No
buy
way,
it?
bullshit.
no way that happens.
Nah, it's bullshit. Nah, it's bullshit. I mean, this didn't come from Varandas. It didn't come from the administration
These
of
came from
Sporting.
journalists in Italy. That's what he.
Exactly. Yeah, they've been drinking too much fucking Italian wine, red wine. I mean,
Do you think it
it's.
comes, but in different conditions?
I mean, the
That's
thing
the
is,
only way.
yeah, that's the only way. I could see Sporting say, okay, we'll pay 1.5 million for his lease for his loan for 1 year. That would be maybe acceptable. But the question is he fit at 100%? Because he's coming out of a serious injury. He was not even on the last game, the Nations Cup for Portugal, because he
Also
was in.
hasn't played
Yeah,
consistently in a while.
exactly. So he might come back out of form, and then what? Sporting will be a vacation spot for him because his family is here and stuff like that. I would rather not get him at all if that's the case. If he's still injured, so no, he's not coming to Sporting. He's not going to Benfica. Benfica they spent 20 million on Raul de Tomas and 16 million on Vinicius. So he's not coming to either club in Lisbon. It's all fucking the Portuguese media trying to sell him, and it's mince. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's gonna happen to him, to be honest, because no one wants him. Sevilla had an option to trigger his purchase, didn't. AC Milan doesn't want him and is clearly trying to offload him right now. So I'm not sure where the hell he's gonna end up. If I had a prediction to make, he's gonna end up at Monaco, where every single George Men's burnout goes to
bro.
die.
Yeah. He ain't gonna be our problem. That's all I
Porto's
gotta
not
say.
paying that. Porto's not paying that either.
No. If Porto doesn't want him, why would Sporting want him? You know what I mean?
No one wants him.
I would love to have Andres Silva if he's fit 100%, and if it's not going to be that expensive for Sporting. Of course, I would love to have him. He's a great player, but just to come over and being a vacation spot for him, and he's still injured, then I'm not interested.
Yeah, loan players. That's kind of like the stigma, is that they're just here to, have a super buck and chill out. The one that comes to mind most starkly is Markovic. I mean, that was one of the worst. He was one of the worst players that's put the shirt on in recent memory, and that was a loan deal. Kind of bounced around from these big clubs. No one wanted him. It's not a good omen to come on those circumstances on a loan when you bounced around like that. So I mean, I'm probably out as well, and but the position does need to be addressed. If there's not another striker signed, we have trouble. Luis Felipe can't play every single minute of every fucking game. I mean, he's great. I like him, but come on, you got to have some depth there. I mean, we probably need 2 strikers. Nando, any players in mind? Haven't seen too many floated. There was a new one today. He's playing in the Belgian league. Any dreams of a affordable option up top?
Honestly, man, I don't know. I mean, we got people talking about Paulinho, but he's a extremo. I mean, we've got a bunch of people floating out around a bunch of other names for other positions that we don't necessarily need. Striker is a very tough position to fill. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can call themselves a striker, but not everybody actually performs as one. You've got the poachers like a Bas Dost or a Jardel or whatever, and then you got the guys that cost a lot more money, and you just hope they play out. I think this one's going to come back to bite us in the ass, and I think we're going to talk about this. Hopefully it doesn't. But I think we're going to run the risk of playing all season, or at least until the winter market, with what we have. Hope that we make it till then, and then be forced to probably spend a lot of money on somebody to come in the winter. That's a kind of position you have to plan for from the very beginning. We didn't do it. I don't see anybody there. I hope that if we're not going to get a guy that's a solid, viable option, then I hope we don't commit any locuras, you know what I'm saying, and don't come out here and get a Pongal type player, or somebody like that that has been, you know what I mean. I hope that at the very least we don't do that, so that we are not left scratching our heads and being like, what the hell are we doing spending money on that? So, but other than that, I don't see anybody else, man.
Yeah, so this is the guy that we were linked to today. His name's Johan Boldy. He's a French Ivorian striker. He currently plays for Sint Trudense in the Belgian league. Scored 14 goals, bagged 5 assists in 36 appearances, valued at about 3 mil, which is what we were rumored. That would be the rumored fee. Pretty underwhelming option. I hope they've done their research if this is the guy they're going to pull the trigger on. The other guy that was linked was Kikash from Bolnes, which more people are familiar with. He plays in the league. He came from Sporting Academy as well, much younger. Then he went to Guimarães, but he originally is from Sporting. Let me just pull up his stats from last season. Regular starter this season and about half of last season. 17 games, 5 goals, 1 assist. So I mean, not a world beater, but definitely a depth option, it would appear. Steph, any fleeting thoughts here on the subject of transfer sondages?
Well, the only thing I can say is we do need a striker. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not sure at all. But in my mind, we do have a scouting department. They should have at least a list of 5 names that they put together, and now they must be looking into and making phone calls and to see the availability of those players they have on that specific list, because that's why we have a scouting department, right? To when you
That's
scout,
their job.
that's their job exactly. When you scout, it means you have a binder. When I say binder, I'm being traditional, but most likely they have a desktop
I hope a
with
spreadsheet, in
yeah,
Excel.
spreadsheet, Excel, yeah,
At least
different
playing football manager or something.
But I'm pretty sure, like they also have a binder if they have to go to a meeting or conference all together. They can show it to each other of certain players they would like to for Sporting. So with that said, um, you know, hopefully they behind closed doors they make phone calls, and pretty soon we should know. I mean, does it sound like Sporting is going to make a deal on Monday, the last day? Yes. Again, I hate to tell you, but it sounds like it. Because I would love to be today or tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday, not the last day of the market. But I was Sporting. They've gotten us so used to making deals at the last minute just to keep us under stress and all fucked up in the head. And but if we have to rely on what we have, why not Pedro Mendes? Pedro Mendes has been showing some great games. He's been scoring goals in the under 23. He's very mobile, very fast. So you'll never know what he'll do with a Vieto passing him the ball, with a Bruno Fernandes passing him the ball. I think he could be amazing, actually, because when you have great players surrounding you, you even become even better. So I'm not freaking out as of yet, because I see Pedro Mendes as a valid option for Sporting. But I still think, and I 100% every bone in my body, that we need another striker, even if we give Pedro Mendes a shot. Because it's 4 competitions that will be involved. It's a long season, so we will need 3 strikers no matter what. Luis Felipe, whoever we end up buying, and we should give Pedro Mendes a shot too.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Was really impressed with him in the most recent U23 game. I watched that one in full. Saw some glimmers of the other games, but not in its entirety. But I was really impressed with him. And yeah, he definitely, I mean, he should be on the bench at least. If it's just Luis Felipe, there's literally no one else. So he should be, playing with the 23s when he can, but definitely be an option available to the seniors on match day at least. So let's kind of move on here to our next topic. Steph, do you want to hit on the modalidades from this past weekend?
Okay, so this past weekend, well, tomorrow we have an important game. We have the Super Cup between Sporting and Benfica, which will be at 15:35 for some reason. Those 5 minutes, and hopefully we'll win.
For futsal.
For futsal, of course, and because it's my birthday tomorrow, so I hope we win. Yes.
Okay.
If we don't win, I'll be extremely disappointed. The handball team won the game against for the Stormtrooper Trophy. It was a good game. We won against Vitória de Setúbal 38-17. So it was kind of lopsided, but Vitória de Setúbal just they got promoted to the first division, so maybe that's why. Our U.S. Portuguese team is playing now.
They lost 4-0.
They lost 4-0?
Yeah.
Opa, porra.
I was just looking at that too.
Did not look excellent.
It was kind of expected anyway.
I was really looking at it and I was like, shit. I don't know what I was expecting, but the second I saw it, I was actually pissed off.
I watched the first half before we came on here, and I was really shocked by how bad Patricia Moraes looked. Obviously, the U.S. is the best women's team in the world, but I mean, the second goal that she let in, she looked really bad in the picture there. And we're used to seeing her. I mean, she's excellent. I've seen her play tons of great games, but I guess the bright lights and the 50,000 people might have gotten to her.
Yeah. It's it is what it is. I mean, but coming back to our Sporting, so the under 15 iniciados, they won 10-0 against Sporting Clube de Portugal. The juveniles under 17, they lost against Fatima 1-0. Juniors, they finished fourth place in the Coppa Brianza in the Italy tournament. Liga Revelação under 23, some amazing results. I can't believe it. 6-0 against Vitória Guimarães, and then 3-1 against Marítimo. Wow, they're just amazing. That team. That team is something to look forward to. Then
Marítimo didn't even look like they belonged on the same field as us, to be honest.
Not at all. I'm telling you. Football de Praia, we just cruising. We won 2-1 against Nacional, 6-5 against Zimbra. Futsal in the international masters, we did pretty good. We tied 3-3 against Inter Movistar. Then we won against Kairat 3-0. We finished in second place, and I don't know why that tournament is made that way, because it only made sense if when Sporting tied against Inter 3-3, but they won in penalty kicks, they went to PKs, and then you should play the winner of the other game, which would have been Benfica, and that's what the tournament should have been. The winner of each game should be the final, but for some reason that's not the tournament is made, and then Benfica won because the trophy, because they won both games. They won against Kairat 3-1, and they won against Inter Movistar like 4-0, I believe. And that's it. That's all I got.
All right, and so I guess let's get into the Twitter questions. Let me just pull them up real quick. Let me find the tweet here so I can pull them up and then screen share them. Give me 1 second. I had it up a minute ago, but then I changed it. All right, let me do screen share. All right, so let's get into it. So first question coming in here from David Claudio. I guess a relevant topic here. What do you think about these players in the U23 team? Eduard Quaresma, Nuno Mendes, Diogo Souza, Dimitra Mitrovski, and about the modalities. You think we're going to win lots of titles this year? One last thing. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Appreciate that, David. And Steph, what do you think about these U23 players that he rattled off here?
I think these players they are amazing. They demonstrating to the Sporting fan base and administrations that they ready to make the jump. And I'm expecting great things from these kids, which they evolving quite fast. And we finally got a decent coach. Lionel Ponce, he's pretty good. He has a lot of experience in the first league and also with the youth. He was at Sporting for a long time. Then he went to Maritim and he went overseas. Now you could see the difference. You could see the difference. And then for the modalidades, yes, I'm expecting to win a lot of titles. I think this administration actually prepared the modalities pretty good. But in the end ball, we're still missing lateral direito. It's not. They don't have one. They adapting someone to that position. So and also, Huesca has been hurt, so we need another center in the end ball specifically. But then we'll be in good shape as well. We have a great coach with lots of experience from France. So, I'm expecting to win a lot of titles in the modalities, but let's not forget that Porto and Benfica, they also did get some key players for their own team. So it's going to be competitive, and that's the way it should be, and that's the way I like it to be. I don't want to win because it's too easy, but our rivals, they also have gotten some great players. So I foresee the handball, futsal, basketball, volleyball, or patins to be very competitive leagues. And the Portuguese futsal is considered now the best league in the world. And the handball, we have two teams in the Champions League, Porto and Sporting. So that's something to talk about. And volleyball is getting better and better. Patins, we also consider the best league in the world. We have the best players in our league. So I'm expecting great things. Yes.
Awesome. And yeah, in regard, just real quick, Diogo Souza hasn't played much. Been really impressed with Max, but the one that I'm curious to see is Anthony Walker, I believe his name is, the 18-year-old Costa Rican keeper. I would like to see him play in a game because he has trained with the first team a few times. So I'm actually curious to see if he's better than Diogo Souza. And he's younger, obviously. So yeah, I'm just curious about him. Next question from Bruno SKO23. Can all the Vieto haters shut up now? I think the kid can turn his career around at Sporting. What are your opinions on Vieto and opinions on the addition of Andre Silva, if rumors are true, of course? Why can't Pedro Mendes get a shot in our A team? Prefer him over Silva. Yes, we pretty much touched on all those topics previously, the Vieto and Andre Silva as well, and even Pedro Mendes. So let's just go down here to the next question. The final question from Abdallah Armuti at Armuti92. Do you think that it's time to promote Pedro Mendes to the first team? Do we really need Paulinho to replace Diaby, noting that we still have Camacho and Jovan in the right side? Let's just, because we already talked about Pedro Mendes, let's skip to that second part of that question. Nando, do you think that we need Paulinho to replace Diaby? There's rumors of a potential swap, maybe Diaby going to Leverkusen. I don't know why they'd want him, but those are the rumors nonetheless. What do you think of Paulinho, and do you think we need him?
I think he's going to be a much better player than Diaby. So if he's going to bring better value to our team, and we get rid of a guy who really hasn't gone off to a good track here with Sporting and Sporting's fans, and we're kind of done with him, then yeah, but I got to figure out the financials of it. Has anybody gone out and actually talked to financials? Is it a clear swap, or is it? I think it's some money going one way plus the player, right?
Yes, and I think it'd be for a loan as well.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Like if we're back in this business of paying money to get a player on loan that's not ours, no, we gotta. I would hope that our direction holds strong on this. That's a waste of money, personally, because it's not ours. But it depends again on the amount of money. Diaby, he's out. He's outlasted his stay. I think he doesn't really have a spot there. Um, but I think we need more of a six and a striker. So we're back on focusing on players that we probably shouldn't be for positions that we have an abundance of, especially in the 20 in the in the academia. So focusing on the wrong place, man.
Agree.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't mentioned one player which has been catching everyone's attention, which is Joelson Fernandes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
He's only 16. I know he's only 16, but sometimes you got to take a risk. I mean, break him out, break him even in the under 23. But at one given point, if the kid is scoring goals like he is now, you got to give him a shot. And maybe in the Taça da Liga, Taça de Portugal, those when we play the second division teams, call him up, give him a chance. Why not? You know what I mean?
Agree. Barcelona just played a 17-year-old last weekend. So I mean, if young players like that can break into teams like that, there's no reason that they should they be performing well
Yeah,
enough that they should get a chance
whole
here.
idea that players have to be a certain age to perform. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sure we all kind of agree. Like, if you got the talent, you got the talent. Some players mature faster than others, and they're physically capable at different points of their careers. If we got players with talent, we've got to put them to use. We've got to let them progress up the academy and put them to use, man. Put them to use. It's not gonna hinder their development, man.
Agree. So thank you all for the Twitter questions here. So before we get into the review of, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Europa League draw tomorrow. We can have a little fun with this. Steph, we will be in pot one along with Porto. So just looking at these pots, what is your ideal draw for Sporting tomorrow?
I mean, all these teams that they have qualified in the Europa League, they all pretty good. There's no more amateur teams. They're all professionals. So the way I look at it is, whatever we get, and we have to make the best out of it. Sporting is expected to at least make it to the round of 16th. That's the least we can expect from our Sporting. Why is that important? Now, not only for the ranking by club, because I think we ranked number 29, so to move up in the ranking, and also there's money involved. The victory is X amount of money, and that will help out Sporting in our finances, and including the players themselves, because every time when you move up to the group stage to the 16 round, you get a bonus. So that should be an incentive for them. That's already calculating their contract from the get-go. So we have a good enough team to make it to the group stage, regardless of what teams we end up with. But being in the different pots, I think there's like pot number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. There's 4 different pots. It makes it like all the groups kind of equal or balanced. Look at the Champions League today. Today was the Champions League draw, and each group was equally about the same. I think the most difficult group was like the Barcelona one, which was also with Tottenham and Inter Milan. So
Barcelona, Inter, Dortmund, Slavia Prague.
That's it. And Dortmund. I'm sorry, it was a German team. So that's a difficult group. But I don't have any preference. Whoever we get, and then we just have to make it happen.
For sure. I will say, I mean, most of those pot 2 teams here are pretty good. The one to me that stands out as the best, most favorable at least, would be Apoel. I watched their game against Ajax on Wednesday for their Champions League playoff, and I mean, they didn't impress me at all. All those other teams pretty good. Even in pot 3, a lot of good teams. Wouldn't mind Saint Etienne. Karabag's obviously probably the weakest team, and we scraped them last year, but I mean, it's a long trip to Azerbaijan, so you got to factor that in too. Would be interesting to maybe square up with Ike Athens and our old friend Chico Geralds, as well as Nelson Oliveira. And Miguel Cardozo already found a way to get himself sacked 1 game into the season, so well done to him. And then those pot 4 teams. The team from Luxembourg, Dudelange, would be probably the most favorable. It's actually a semi-pro team. So, Steph, you said this is all professional teams. There is actually one semi-pro team that made it for the 2nd year in a row from Luxembourg. So good for them, and wouldn't mind getting them either.
No, yeah, agreed.
Nando, any thoughts here before we get to Rio Ave?
Kind of agree with both of you, man. Primarily, I would like to kind of avoid those long ass, flights.
Russia,
exactly.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah, those kind of flights are always annoying. You know what I mean? They're just trap games, exhaustive, expensive. So those ideally. Other than that, man, I think this Liga Europa, every pot is fairly even, like you guys have already touched up on. I mean, pot 3 has a couple sleepers in there, but like Feyenoord,
Spanish teams would be decent.
Wolves, like that pot 3 is kind of sleeperish. Like you can get a couple teams in there that could put some, historically, their names go a little far in their respective leagues, but Spanish teams are always dangerous. Yeah, so I mean, as long as we don't end up having some far trips, I'm okay, man. Whoever hits. Keep it moving.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
that draw is tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern time in the United States. So I usually head to work at 7, so that'll be starting. So I will be in traffic inevitably. So I will check my phone and see if I can tweet it out as it happens. Maybe I can get the stream up and listen to the audio. I know it's not as hyped as the Champions League draw and takes a bit longer because there's twice as many groups. But I mean, it's important for us. And, getting PSV, Frankfurt, and then, Istanbul, Başakşehir, I mean, that's a tough group. So, I mean, hopefully it's favorable to us. Obviously, group pots are pretty balanced. But there's obviously ways that it can be more favorable to you than others. So, all right, let's get into our preview here of Rio Ave, which is on Saturday at 2 p.m. here on East Coast United States. Nando, what are your thoughts as Sporting are flying into that game back home at Alvalade?
I think it's going to be exciting to see the fans kind of rally together. It's a 2 p.m. game, which means it's a nice hour for Portugal to really fill out that stadium, and hopefully we get a nice crowd, right? So 2 p.m. for us, 7 p.m. there. That's not bad like it was against Braga, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we get a good, decent showing. Team's in first place. It's a rally around the guys. And then performance-wise, I fully expect to win, obviously. I'm mostly curious to see what Kaiser does in terms of lineup. I hope he doesn't change what just wasn't broken. Actually performed really well. I really honestly hope to see the same exact lineup, same exact bench. Maybe some time on the pitch for a guy like Plata. He didn't even use all three subs last time, but maybe hopefully get him some game time this go around. Riwav's only played 2 games so far this season, I think, right? They
their
won
game
one,
was
lost one.
canceled. Yeah, their game
So,
against Guimarães was canceled. Yeah, so they're 1-1.
right. So they got. I mean, that's still too early to tell how they've looked. 1-1, lost one. They're generally a little not tough per se, but a little annoying, especially away. Thankfully, we're playing at home. So, I mean, I hope a win, man. I'm expecting like a 2-0, 2-0 victory. Something stable. Hopefully, we don't concede any goals. We've conceded goals so far for the last however many games. So, if we can not concede goals to get the win, that'd be cherry on top.
Steph, what do you think?
Against Riwab, I mean, we have to win. There's no other way around it. If you want to be competitive and be in the race to win the Portuguese league, you have to win those games. I don't care if Riwab won the last game 5-1. I can care less about that. All we have to do, it's our obligation. We're playing home. We are one of the big three teams in Portugal, so it's a must win. There's no other. I want a great performance, of course, and if possible, not to suffer any goals. And that's what I wish for our Sporting. And I think we are in a high wave and we win. Um, I would say I'm gonna say 3-0.
3-0. Wow. That would be nice for sure. Yeah, so I actually read that. I mean, you never know for sure with these things, but they Ebola the other day said that Kaiser expects to roll with the same lineup. So, as Nando said, yeah, I mean, you don't need to fix it if it's not broken, and definitely would like to see that same lineup rolled out there. And yeah, it would be nice to see a Plata or Camacho even cameo or both. Still have yet to see either of them in action for the first team in a real game. So would love to see that. He does love. He does seem to love Eduardo as a late sub when we're winning. I think that might become a trend that kind of annoys us after a while because he doesn't really bring much, but he does seem to love that. Eduardo for Wendell sub to in the last 10 minutes. So I mean, hopefully he shows something if that's the case. But yeah, I'm gonna go Sporting 3-1, same result as this past weekend. And hopefully we can get some time for those guys as well. All right, and I think that pretty much touches on everything. Do you guys have any final thoughts here before we wrap it up?
I do. Really fast. So we still have 5 players to place, being Viviano. Andre Pinto, it was resolved today. He's going to Saudi Arabia.
Al Fateh.
Al Fateh. So that's good news. I think we retained 10% of his pass.
Yep, he joined the Custo Zero club.
Yeah, but I don't think we could have sold him for much anyway.
Nah, I'm gonna too.
Yeah. We have Jefferson still to place, Mateus Oliveira, Wallison, and Ruiz.
Alan Ruiz was loaned.
No. The other Ruiz, the one
Leonardo Ruiz,
the one that played the Boavista.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that Ruiz. So we still have 5 players to place. So we could save some, salary money and give it to Bruno Fernandes, I guess.
or just make some money. I mean, they're not getting sold, any of those guys. So you might as well just terminate the contracts now and cut the losses, right?
And that's it. That's all I had. And tomorrow, the prediction for me against Benfica for the Supertaça de Futsal, I think we win 3-2.
What time is that game at?
3:45.
3:45. 3:35.
3:35.
All right, so I'm almost out of work at that time. All right, yeah. Hopefully we get that win.
Yeah, I think he'll be played at the RTP1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, and it is being played at Palácio dos Esportes de Torres Novas, the Federation arena.
Yeah, that's the outskirts of Lisbon. Yep.
All right, Nando. Anything else?
No, man. I think we covered most of it. It was cool to see real quick. Rozier get some playtime finally.
For the 23s, yeah.
Yeah, for the 23. You know,
Oh
he
yeah.
said that he felt good other than just being tired, and that's to expect. But it was good to finally see him out there, and hopefully he ends up coming back soon here to the A team and just adds another option there on that right side. It'll be interesting to see. We've talked about this multiple times. Who's going to be the odd man out there? But I think now with everything Thiago Correa has been doing, like I think that he deserves the spot at least until somebody proves otherwise.
Agreed. And yeah, so that brings us to the end here. We will talk to you guys next week after hopefully another good performance and a win in the Super Cup. So we start the season out with a trophy and feel good about the futsal team. So we'll have some new faces out there this season as well. So interesting to see how they gel together. And when you're watching the game, make sure to check out that gold European champions patch that we're wearing on our jerseys. It looks very nice. It's a nice touch. Just reminds you who the champions of Europe are, and it fits nicely with the jersey scheme. And hell yeah. Viva Sporting. We will talk to you guys next week.
Viva